Welcome to the kitchen of the Pampered Chef of Texas. My name is Solis Ruff and I am your Pampered Chef. Today, thanks to our friend Garrett Stanley, we are going to be honoring his request to be making Thai chicken stir fry today. So I'm going to walk through the recipe with you, but don't worry about writing anything down. If you need anything, just comment below and we'll be happy to get you that recipe. So we're going to be cutting up some chicken thigh. If you're really watching the fat, you can use a chicken breast, but I like the flavor of a thigh more. So I'm going to go ahead and dice this up into cubes using my new Pampered Chef Santuco knife. This is seriously a great knife and it's so perfectly sized. I hold it in my hand really comfortable and I can really go to town on something that I need to chop. So I'm going to chop this up. And that's it. And I've got my chicken ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and saute this up in the Pampered Chef quick cooker. And I'm going to use the sear setting, so I'm setting it to sear. And while that heats up, I'm gonna go ahead and put in about a cup of extra virgin olive oil. I am using the Pampered Chef Measure All cup, which is reversible. It's really great because you can use this side for liquid and then the other side for something solid, which I'll show you in just a second. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and get that oil heating. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put in some garlic. So I've got a clove of garlic right here. I'm just gonna chop off the ends, but I don't have to worry about peeling it. I'm gonna put it into this Pampered Chef garlic press, and without having to worry about peeling it, I can just drop it into the oil and get a really nice press on that. It even comes with a little tool to help you get that skin out. Prior to that, I went ahead and used the Pampered Chef microplaner to get us some fresh ginger for this recipe. So the microplaner is really awesome because you can just go back and forth and grate ginger in this case, but you can do cheese or anything else that you need to do. I'm also gonna put some onions in here before I put the chicken in, get those sweating, and I'm gonna use the Pampered Chef manual food processor. So this is a great little device because it's got a blade in here, and maybe you have a food processor, but if you're like me, I don't want to pull it out because it has so many attachments and then it has to be cleaned and completely taken apart. And this is just such a simple tool. It's so easy. All you do is push down on the handle, and the more you push, the finer the chop. And I want fairly fine onions, so that should do it. Yeah, I think that's good. And if there's a few chunky ones in there, that's fine because I love onions. Our whole family loves onions. So you can hear that sizzling already, and I didn't have it on very long. So that sear feature on the Pampered Chef quick cooker really works. So I'm gonna get these onions sweating, and I'll give them just about a minute before I add the chicken. So that's gonna be next. And when I put that chicken in, I'm going to add the Pampered Chef Asian seasoning mix. That's what this recipe calls for. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a little cilantro too. So the cilantro, I went ahead and stripped with the Pampered Chef herb stripper, just taking the leaves off the stem, which makes it really great. And then chopping it with my same Santuco knife. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those in there with the onions. And I can really hear it sizzling now, which is great. That sear feature is really awesome, because this is the Pampered Chef pressure cooker, but prior to using the pressure cooking feature, you can brown things a little bit, like I'm going to do with this chicken. So the Pampered Chef quick cooker is a pressure cooker, and it's got these really great handles at the base so you can carry it and lift it around. When it's operating, this protective casing keeps it cooler, so you don't have to worry about touching it if it's too hot. Inside, it's not hot on the outside, which is awesome. So this is going to sear for just a couple minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on and get that pressurized. It takes about 10 minutes to reach pressure, and in this application, I think it's gonna cook for about 20 minutes or so on the chicken. While my chicken is searing a little, I'm gonna go ahead and make the sauce for this stir fry, and it is going to be made with some coconut milk. I'm using the lighter fat coconut milk. And I'm using it using the Pampered Chef can opener, which is really awesome. So what's great about it is that it leaves a smooth edge, and so the lid also affixes back on, so if you're doing something like pet food or something like that and you don't want to touch it and just put it back in the fridge, you can do that. But I'm going to go ahead and pour the whole can in here. And then we were talking about this measuring cup and how it's reversible and how I had the oil in the other side, and now this time I've got peanut butter. And what's so great about this is that when I plunge it down, it gets rid of all the peanut butter and scrapes the sides at the same time. So that's how easy that is. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook this on the stove to sort of melt this peanut butter down. The recipe calls for creamy peanut butter. I'm a chunky person. I like chunky peanut butter. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the stove and get this cooking. I'm using my Pampered Chef cookware, but I've been a Pampered Chef loyal customer for more than 20 years. 25 years probably by now. So my cookware is substantially older than what's offered today. So my pan that I'm using here today is probably about 20 years old. The pans are wonderful. They come with a lifetime warranty, I believe. And so that's really awesome because it'll be the last pan you ever buy. So my chicken has been searing and I think it is ready to go. So I'm gonna add the Asian seasoning mix. I've already added all that I want to on this. I'm gonna add 2 cups of chicken broth. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the searing. And I'm gonna go ahead and set the lid. It makes an audible sound to let you know it's in place and locked. And I've gone ahead and set this for the chicken setting and hitting start. And it's gonna take about 10 minutes to come to pressure. And when it does, the little red indicator stem is gonna pop up and let you know it's pressurized and cooking, and then it will count down, and when it's finished, it's gonna give us an audible beep to let it know it's done. And then we're gonna go ahead and release the pressure valve, and it'll allow the steam to escape. I've got my chicken going in the Pampered Chef quick cooker, and now I'm going to set some veggies up for stir frying. And I'm going to be doing some snow peas, some broccoli, some carrots, but I also want to do some squash and some red bell pepper. So for the squash, I'm going to go ahead and do a spiralized treatment on the vegetable to make it interesting and fun. And so this is the Pampered Chef spiralizer. And I've gone ahead and put in a zucchini squash and then fastened it down with the blade. And then all I'm gonna do is turn the crank, and out the side is going to come the spiralized zucchini squash. Perfect for salads or stir frying, and your guests will always think you went an extra step to make things look nice. So I've got my Pampered Chef wok heating up with peanut oil in it. Get that turned up to high. When you're stir frying, you want a high heat. And what's so great about a wok is that these sides help you sort of regulate so that the food that takes a little bit longer can be at the bottom and the food that takes less can be up the sides where it's less heat. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and get it going. I can already hear that sear, which is what I want to hear when I'm stir frying. And I have already set aside some basil. Fresh basil in Thai cooking is so important. It's really what brings out everything. And wouldn't you know, Rob was like, why don't you use the manual food processor? No, when you're cooking with basil, you want to chiffonade it, which is you want to roll it up like a little cigar and slice the leaves like this. And that is because there are so many essential oils in basil, and you definitely do not want to leave any of the oils behind if you chop it up too finely. You really want to taste the basil. So I've gone ahead and set that aside, and I'm using this Pampered Chef utility knife, which is super sharp and really great. It comes with a cover, And so I'll set these aside. And then the last thing I need to prepare is this recipe calls for chopped peanuts. We already have peanut butter going on and I like peanuts, but I love cashews even more. So I went ahead and got some cashews. And I'm going to use the Pampered Chef Food Chopper. And this particular tool is really great. It's a knife that has a zigzag pattern in it. And so when you put it on something like this, you can use it to chop vegetables or onions or anything else. But I'm going to go ahead and, when I come down on it, it gives it a chop. And on the way up, it gives a quarter turn. So the more I chop, the finer the chop. So there are my cashews. And I'll do a few more. And then a few more. Now, I have to tell you, when I went to my very first Pampered Chef party back in 1996, this particular product is what sold me on the Pampered Chef, and this is my original one from that long ago, which is really fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside and use this flexible to pour that back into the bowl and set that aside for when we're done. And then the next time you see us, in just a minute, or maybe two, it'll be completed and we'll go ahead and show you the finished product.